Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? All right, I think we are live now, so let me just check the audio here. Check the sound. There we go. Come on, come back up. Sound's playing tricks on me. It's not letting me actually check it. So let me just leave the Facebook group and go back into the Facebook group. We'll just see. Can you hear me? That is the question. Can you hear me? All right. You can hear me because I can hear myself. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Creative Crypto Show for the day. If you're watching this in the Facebook group, do me a favor, click on the link, the like, not the link, the like. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you're getting value or if you get value. So we're going to dive into the market, talk a little bit of crypto this morning, see what's going on. But before we start that, we always share some good news first. So thank you to those watching this in the group. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to join us in the group, where you can actually join these live stream calls if you want, or and just play with all of the other stuff that happens in there. So there's a link somewhere in the description to come over and join the group, those of you on YouTube. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button because I don't have enough subscribers. Brand new channel. So let's see here. Let me just get this correct window pulled up. Hi, Danny. Welcome to the call. Let's start with some good news. What you got for today?
Well, let's see. I'm on time, first of all. I almost missed it. And I'm just working fiercely at my setting up my businesses and learning as much personal development. So I'm really grateful. I'm almost done with the magic words. One more chapter, and I'm really excited because it's taking me almost 2 weeks to get it from the publisher and 2 days to read it. So I'm excited.
That is a good book for those of you who have not read it. Magic Words. That's a really cool book. So my good news is I've had another very productive morning. Yesterday I completed a project. This is what I call my value ladder for one of the projects that I've been putting together and working on in my business. And so having that clarity as far as, which products lead to other products, to which products, and how everything connects is a good clarity to have. And so it allows me to be more productive after that going forward in that area of my business. So that's my good news. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will take a look at the market and see what is going on. So let's just start by going to coinmarketcap.com. We'll pull up yesterday's numbers, see what we got. Okay, so the total market cap right now is 377 billion. That is down a little bit from yesterday. 24-hour volume is 22 billion. That is up by $1 billion since yesterday. The number of cryptocurrencies is 1617. That is 7 more than we had yesterday. And then Bitcoin dominance went from 36.8 to 37.2. So a little bit of a bump in that. If we just take a look at the this column right here, the change in the last 24 hours, and we just do a quick scroll down, you see a lot of red and just a little bit of green. So looks like it's a red day today. If we look at, if we sort by the green, then we see there's only 3 of these coins out of 1,617 here on the site that are up in the last 24 hours. So that means it is very much so a red day. All of the coins in the last 24 hours are down. The highest gainer at the moment, however, is Basic Attention Token. and Vertasium. These are both two coins that I do like. Zcash has had a pretty good pump in the last 24 hours. Right now at this moment, it's showing down. However, I would anticipate that would change because they were announced to be listed on the Gemini exchange, and they were one of the largest gainers very recently, earlier today. So that's kind of what's going on in the crypto market here on coinmarketcap.com. Let's go take a look at what's going on in gold and silver and the bond market. So we just come over and we're going to search for bonds. Let's do BND. So the bond market is still selling off. We scroll in, it's been selling off for, I don't know, long time. So this is a very good representation of the US dollar. It's the Vanguard total bond market. You can see last week we had these kind of artificial pumps, and I told you that it probably, like, these are just very, they're temporary. They're part of the process. Like, they got to go up to go down further. And that's exactly what's happening. The green didn't last long, and then it just continues to sell off. We talked about some more news yesterday that would affect that. You know, more and more countries opening up the ability to trade and just go around the petrodollar. This is very much linked to that and related. And so a good representation of what's going on with the US dollar, and we see that people are just dumping it. So that's what's going on there. If we look at silver, so here's, before I go into silver, gold, and crypto, theoretically, what should happen, what we should see, if money's moving out of the US dollar, out of the bond market, it's going somewhere, right? Where people are taking their money and putting it somewhere else. Now, where's that money going? We know where it's going. It's going into the three things that we're observing and talking about. So it's going into gold, it's going into silver, it's going into to crypto. And what's interesting, so what we should see is the opposite of this for those three markets. But let's take a look at what we actually see. So let's just go, we'll start with silver. Let's do silver here. Instead, we see a very similar pattern. We see a sell-off. We see a dump in silver, which is just, to me, very much so proof of manipulation. The silver market, it doesn't have true price discovery, neither does gold. However, here's something to kind of take note of. Right now, we're right around this area. It's kind of where we're getting some a little bit of, I forget the word I'm looking for here. But you'll see that if we scroll back, that's kind of been the bottom for quite some time. And so if I were looking to put money into silver, then this would be a pretty good time to do it, in my opinion. Now is a really good opportunity, buying opportunity in the world of silver, because it's kind of at the low looking at it from that way. So let's take a look at what's going on with gold. Gold, US dollar, boom, same thing, it's dumping. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. Again, same story for gold, very much so the time to buy with that. And then let's look at just Bitcoin. No, BTC. And there. And we see a drop, just like that. So, I mean, the same thing is happening. This is, again, to me, clear-cut, obvious manipulation, which we know that any market that has futures attached to it or high-frequency trading attached to it is a market that is being manipulated, because that's the purpose of those things. Now, it's not the purpose that they're right up. So, hey, it kind of is in a roundabout way. Let's create these things, these new casino games that can attract attention, and then we can manipulate them, and the house always wins, right? So that's kind of the mentality behind all of this. As far as prices on the market, Bitcoin sitting at 8,200. Again, we're kind of flat on that for the last little while. EOS is down 1226. Litecoin 137. great time to buy Litecoin. I'll say it again, great time to buy Litecoin. I'm a big fan of Litecoin for the long term, and I'm definitely in accumulation mode with Litecoin. So that's kind of what's going on in the markets and with gold and silver. As far as mainstream news or world news, I guess, what you will notice is a couple of things. Number one of the big things that the mainstream media is kind of squawking about right now is the whole North Korea deal threatening to pull out of the peace agreements thing. The progress that we've made and we've talked about here in the last few days, you know, the headlines are that's at jeopardy now, and that might not happen. And I wouldn't pay attention to any of that stuff. I mean, the headlines are what they are. They're whatever. They're headlines. It's theater that we're seeing. I mean, I'm not putting any merit to that. I think it's just that it's theater. And so I'm not really working on or paying attention to that. The main thing just to be paying attention to in world news right now is just where the focus is. Where is the mainstream media and the focus? Like, and you'll know, you know, by seeing the stuff on Facebook that shows up for you, and seeing the stuff on, you know, CNN and Fox News and, you know, all the mainstream media outlets. It'll be obvious what the focus is. So right now, what's been the focus? Iran. That's the focus at the current moment. Next on the list, and I'm telling you guys now, next on the list is Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu is we'll put it like this: he's not a good guy. There's certain aspects that he's kind of being made as a hero / good guy, and a lot of people that's you know, that's the stance from a lot of people. He's definitely not. Israel will be on the list next. That's going to be where the focus is right now, or next up after Iran, and that may be you know, that may be months or longer down the road. But I'm pointing that out because that's the next really big play in terms of world peace. You get the evil out of that. A few key moves are made in Israel, and the world all of a sudden is at peace, which is something the bad guys don't want to happen. Bad guys want to create, you know, Bible prophecy style misinterpreted Armageddon. that's the objective. They want to create that in the real world, and so there's a big, you know, a big fight going on, you know, the two different sides. And so Israel will be the target next. When that starts being the case, we're going to see a lot of moves being made, and that, again, as we've talked about, is directly tied to the price of cryptos. And so again, it's just, you know, in terms of timeline, we still got some time. We're not there yet. You know, we're not going to wake up tomorrow and see a headline of world peace. We're still just kind of letting you guys know where we're at on the timeline for that. Notable crypto news. Let's go into the Facebook group, see what's going on here. So let's see, we got this Coinbase cheating. We got some Litecoin good news. We got HTC coming out, being first to market with the blockchain. And then we got Goldman Sachs based crypto company is introducing their version of the US dollar. So let's just talk about that first. Actually, before we talk about that, I mentioned yesterday you're going to see lots of news coming out on the heels of the conference, the big crypto conference that took place a few days ago in New York City, or in New York. So there was 8,000 people there. I had no idea there was that many. I knew there was a lot of people. I didn't know it was 8,000. Multiply that by $2,000 per ticket. That's $16 million in ticket sales. That's a massive, like, why do an ICO? You just do a crypto event. People, the crypto fanatics will come. That's a big event. 8,000 people paying $2,000 ticket. That's kind of a big deal. Anyway, so there will still be some more news from that. The Litecoin news, I believe, is part of that. And so let's see, Goldman Sachs coming out with their US dollar, their version of the US dollar. So the article's here in the group. My take on this is that it's not surprising at all. You know, this was, we know what side Goldman Sachs is on and what companies they invest in, and they're going to till probably, I won't go down that because it's unnecessary. However, I don't necessarily see this as a bad deal, because when the market is going up and down, if you are trading and you or you're just looking at the market and you know or believe that, hey, you know what, I think the price of Bitcoin is going to go down $1,000 in the next few days. If you believe that, then you got a couple of options, right? Like you can get out of your Bitcoin right now, put it somewhere else to hold the value, and then when the drop of Bitcoin goes down, then you just take what you pulled out and you get back in at a lower price, and so you make the margin on that trade. That's how we make money in a down market and also make money in an upward market. Now the challenge, not a challenge, but like the roadblock for many people is, in order to execute that, you got to get out of Bitcoin. And so where do I go to get out of Bitcoin? Do I put it in another coin that could also go down, because we know so many other coins are connected so closely to Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin goes down, many of the other ones go down as well. And so do you want to do that and risk, you know, it's losing it in Bitcoin or losing it in another coin? What's the difference? You're still losing the money. So what people do is just take it completely out of crypto altogether, and hold it in the value of US dollar, let it go down, and then buy back in. Well, Tether is attached to the US dollar. It's pegged to the US dollar. And so the value of Tether never gets within a few pennies of $1 US in terms of value. And so what people do, instead of getting out completely of crypto, when they believe the market's going to go down, they just, you know, move a certain amount over into Tether. That holds the value, and then they go from Tether and they take their, you know, the coins in Tether and they buy at the lower point. So it just makes it a lot easier of a process, a lot more of a seamless process. You don't have to get completely out and, you know, take the money from the exchange or whatever. You just go from, you know, Tether to Bitcoin, and oftentimes that just takes a couple of seconds. It's very, very easy transaction. Now, here's my problem with that. Tether. I don't trust Tether. Tether could go away at any time. And from my perspective, like, I'm knowing what I know about Tether, knowing that they have come out and publicly said, no, we refuse to prove that we actually have this money in a bank account somewhere that we're claiming that we have backing up this coin, because supposedly every Tether coin is backed up by a US dollar, but they won't show it. They will not provide that transparency. It's also one of the guys that's behind it and really is a big influencer and part owner in that company is Brock Pierce. And we've talked about him with EOS, and he's, you know, behind Block One, and kind of that whole, you know, scandal and the stuff that he's involved with, which is not good and pretty stuff. It's some pretty, you know, pretty evil type stuff. And so I just don't want to be affiliated with that. And any type of shady business practice in the past, if I'm aware of that, then I'm going to do what I can to not do business or dealings, especially put my money into it, even for a second. Because what if it goes away just so happens when I've got my money sitting there in that 2 or 3 day period? So that's kind of where I've been, you know, not too excited about it. Well, this could be a possible option, you know, possible additional option to do that if they come out with a coin that's pegged to the US dollar. So that's going on. Let's see, what else do we have? We have HTC, world's first native blockchain phone. So this is pretty cool. what I wrote here in the actual post when I posted in the group. They are the first ones to actually take all of the data that we have on the phone. So like, think about it. All of the data that's on our phone, we don't truly own it all. We don't truly have it because it's not on a blockchain. What this company is doing is they're going out and doing the first full blockchain cell phone, and so that's going to be a big deal. This is the future of like all of the data on everybody's phone in the future is going to be backed up. It's going to be on the blockchain, so we know that we can trust it. All right, people, like, trust is a big deal to everybody, and that's the way the world is going. We've got to be able to trust it, and that's what blockchain brings to the party. Whether it's cell phone, or trust where our food came from, or who cooked it, or trust where our money's at and who's got access to it, or it doesn't matter. Like, trust is a big deal, and that's what blockchain is bringing. And so the phone is no different. It's just, again, one of the other industries that blockchain is going to disrupt. HTC happens to be the first one that's going all in on it. So I would not be surprised of a couple of things. Number one, HTC sees a big uptick in their productivity and profitability over the next year or two, because being first to market does have something to say. I mean, there is some merit there, regardless of if other bigger companies come in and get on board later on down the road. Being first to market is, I mean, it does hold some weight oftentimes. And so interesting to see what happens there. That full article's in the group if you want to take a look at that. Next thing on the news is the Winklevoss brothers, the Bitcoin exchange adds Zcash, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Now, Zcash had the biggest pump out of these three because they said in this article there's a specific date on when that is happening. There is no specific date for Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. Again, the full article's here if you want to take a look at that. But this is a big deal. Anytime, again, Litecoin being down and we're in a red market, and we know that they're coming out on another large exchange. This is one of the top 5 exchanges in the world, I think. And so knowing that that's coming, whenever that date gets set in stone, and you're going to see another pump. Whenever it actually happens, you're probably going to see another pump. Again, so I'm just a big fan of Litecoin altogether. Bitcoin Cash is also going to be one that's on there. I'm not a huge, I don't want to say I'm not a huge fan of Bitcoin Cash. I don't have a lot of holdings in Bitcoin Cash comparatively to my other holdings. Between the two, I much prefer Litecoin. Let's see what else we got. We have the Wall Street Journal saying big Bitcoin exchanges welcome high-speed traders. Crap, I just closed down Facebook. Let me go back into Facebook. So this is a big deal as well. This is Coinbase saying, you know what, we're going to allow the game manipulators, the ones that rig the game, we're going to let them come plug in right next to us. We're going to do business as normal over here, and we're just going to let them do their high-speed thing over here, high-frequency trading. Now, here's something interesting that I mean, this is cheating basically. There's no way that this high-frequency trade, like, it's inviting the criminals. This is where, like, high-frequency trading was, like, it originated from manipulation. And this is not a hidden, like, this is very well known. Like, this is inviting the criminals and saying, hey, just come join us and manipulate this market, and we'll let you do your thing. You can come set up right next to us because the wire's shorter and you guys can have the biggest advantage. You can trade on our thing, high frequency style, and then all of these other amateur investors and all of these other people that are hearing about crypto for the first time, they're going to come to Coinbase and they're going to be doing their trades also, but they're going to have this massive disadvantage because we're going to allow you guys to do it at the speed of light, essentially. It's cheating, number one, in that regard. Like, it's bringing the criminals to the party. So I don't like the move for that. Plus, if you look and do some research, you'll find out that literally every single stock market crash in history since the invention of the computer has been caused by computer glitches. That's, at the end of the day, that's all. There's always been blame pointed at some computer glitch or another, and that all comes on the heels as soon as high frequency trading is introduced. Not the day of always, but it's always after that, because that's what it was designed for. High frequency trading is for manipulation. So I would not be surprised if we have another computer glitch show up that is somewhat related to Coinbase or that exchange or something going along with this particular news. So just keep an eye out for that. Yeah, again, like I said, this is equivalent to giving crypto traders enough rope to hang themselves. You can't compete with that type of thing. So that is there. What's next? That is it. So that's all I got. Let's go stop share. So thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate all of you. The one kind of ongoing message that you guys hear me say, just even for those of you that are new, that at the end of the day, the dollar is dying. We're seeing evidence of that more and more. The cryptos are going to boom over the next coming years. So if you're not in the game, get in the game. Limit the amount of cash you're holding. If you have a whole bunch of cash, consider putting it somewhere else in gold, silver, crypto. You can put it wherever you want. You can do whatever you want with it. These are all my opinions. I'm not giving investment advice. I'm just telling you what I would do and what I am doing. So that's where we will end it for today. So thanks so much. We'll talk to you all soon. And yeah, take care. Bye-bye.